It's time to lock in. We're talking SEC, college football, and more. This is AP as we see it.
I'm all about that action. I'm all about that action. I'm all about that action. I said I'm all about that action.
I'm AP Stedham from LA, Lower Alabama. This is AP as we see it, a weekly syndicated show discussing the Southeastern Conference, college football on the national level, and other sports. Welcome to another edition of AP as we see it. And we'd like to let our audience know about our social media platforms. You can find the visual entertainment of this show weekly on our YouTube channel at AP as we see it, as well as it's archived on Spotify for the audio, and also 20 to 25 stations. It airs on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday around the Southeast. You can check that out. Like I said, all of our events that we cover on our social media platform, the YouTube channel, AP as we see it. And sometimes I put it on my personal one as well, but also our Facebook platform, Instagram and X accounts, AP as we see it, and also at AP Stedham as well. We'd like to also recognize our sponsors, Greer's Markets, in business for 109 years, 29 locations, Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, and serving the Gulf Coast and beyond. They have the Lucy's Famous Recipes online. You can check those. Remember, family, friends, and football is a winning tradition at Greer's. You can score big savings each week by checking online and visiting the store, those 29 locations in the Southeast. Remember, game days for all these playoff games that will be approaching, college football, the bowl games, the basketball games, men's and women's, all of the exciting things happening in the Southeastern Conference. You can prepare by going to one of these 29 locations, or you can go to Groceries to Go, and that'll deliver it to your home, your office, and the venue of your choice. And they have the coloring contest for kids. You can check the weekly ads. And there's so many good things happening at Greer's, those 29 locations, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi. And remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it. We'd also like to recognize Robertsdale Dental Care, Dr. Jason Northcutt, 251-947-3636. And you can see that on our ticker. All our sponsors are on the ticker below if you're watching the visual at AP as we see it on the YouTube channel. Dr. Jason Northcutt, not only are basic services offered by Dr. Jason Northcutt, but he has developed a niche within the practice providing comprehensive dental implant services such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. Dr. Jason Northcutt has been highly trained in these disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems. Come by and see Dr. Jason Northcutt and staff. Dial 251-947-3636 to set up your appointment. And we also have the Cortland Grand Hotel of Atlanta. Beautiful, spacious rooms. They have the indoor pool with a serene tropical setting. It's right in the heart of Atlanta. They have the restaurants and the gift shops. Outstanding buffet. On the weekends, they cook to order. Ben Giacomo and his staff are exceptional with their hospitality to all their guests. There's parking there as well. Like I said, it's downtown Atlanta, the Cortland Grand Hotel. So let's get to the show. We're reporting live out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We were here for the National Football Foundation Annual Awards Dinner, the 67th Annual Awards Dinner. This is an organization that was started in 1947 by General Douglas MacArthur, Grantland Rice, the famous journalist, and also Colonel Red Blake, who was the coach of Army football. So we want to make mention of Steve Hatchell, the president and CEO of the National Football Foundation. Matthew Sine, the chief operating officer. Phil Marwell handles all the public relations and media requests. And Hillary Jeffries, she is so intricately involved with getting all the nominations set and the other logistics. But we had some people from the SEC that were inducted at this event, and it's 2,000 people. It's a spectacular night of college football celebration and the game of football itself on all levels. There's over 700 colleges playing college football. at all the different levels. So, but we had a chance to visit with Greg Carr. You can watch that interview on our YouTube channel. Greg Carr, linebacker, Auburn University, 81 to 84. He's an orthopedic surgeon after he finished playing football. Then we have next from Tennessee, University of Tennessee, John Henderson, big defensive tackle. Big John, 1999 to 2001. We had from the University of Texas, Michael Huff, the defensive back, 2002 to 05. Then we have from Ole Miss, Terrence Metcalf, offensive lineman, 97, 99 through 01. Then we have representing Auburn also on the coaching level, Larry Blakely. He graduated from Auburn, coached at Troy, had a 61% winning percentage. We have from the University of Florida, Urban Meyer, his winning percentage overall, and these are overall numbers at other schools as well, 85.4%. And we have from the University of Alabama and LSU, Nick Saban, his overall winning percentage was 80.4%. And it's a great night of celebration of college football. And they induct players from all levels. They have award winners, the William Campbell Trophy for the academics on the academic side, and they recognize people for their contributions to the game of football. So if you ever get a chance to attend this event, it's in Las Vegas now, but it's well worth your while because you get to see the coaches from around the country. They take a moment because they're honoring players, former players from their school, and they're honoring players from their current rosters as well. So it's a fun night. And like I said, 2,000 people. It's rare that you attend an event with that many people. So if you get a chance, check out the National Football Foundation website. We had a chance to interview Greg Carr from Auburn. You can check that on our YouTube channel. We had a chance to interview Nick Saban, and that interview, I think, is around 12 minutes. So you can watch that as well on our YouTube channel at AP as we see it. And then we had two other players from different schools, USC and Notre Dame, Terry Henry. People remember Terry, and he was on the 1966 national championship team with Notre Dame, and that was a highly contested championship because Alabama was coming off two back-to-back national championships in 64 and 65, went undefeated in 1966 with Kenny Stabler, Dennis Holman, Ray Perkins, and they defeated Nebraska in the Sugar Bowl 34-7, I believe it was, and 11-0, and you thought they would have had the third championship, but it's known as the missing ring championship in 1966. So we had a discussion with Terry Henry, the All-American quarterback from Notre Dame, about that season. And they had tied Michigan State in what was called the game of the century. And of course, Notre Dame was not playing in the bowl games at that time. They didn't play until the 1969 season where they played Texas in the Cotton Bowl. So, but we had that discussion. And Dennis Thurman played for USC, and they had a chance to play Alabama. USC was number one, and Alabama visited USC, and Alabama came away with the upset, the 1-point upset, 21-20. So we had those two players as well. But check out our YouTube videos and our interviews from the National Football Foundation of Greg Carr from Auburn, the linebacker, Nick Saban, the head coach of University of Alabama and LSU, Terry Henry, the All-American quarterback at Notre Dame, 1968. And we also had a chance to interview Dennis Thurman, safety defensive back, All-American 1977 for the Trojans. So check out the YouTube channel. We're going to have a very special guest in segment 2 and 3, Scott Hunter, the former University of Alabama and NFL quarterback. We thought we'd have some words and observations about the upcoming Alabama playoff game against Oklahoma. They played once already this season. Oklahoma survived a 23-21 victory in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama was turnover prone that day with 3. And you have to give credit to the Sooners because they'll turn you over, and they're very good at getting to the quarterback, number 1 in the country, tied with Texas A&M, over 100 losses, tackles for loss. So they're very difficult. They put the pressure on your offense in many ways, and this game will be at home. Alabama went there last year. Different team, different quarterback for Alabama. Ty Simpson takes over this year. But the Sooner defense was able to rattle him, and they came away with some turnovers, which led to 17 points. But anyway, we're going to discuss that with Scott Hunter in segment 2 and 3. But we also, and in segment 4, we'll go over the college football rankings. And every week I always present you with my Football Writers Association of America National Football Foundation Super 16 poll. And I always like to present my view of the sport each week. And that was my last time to vote because we're finished with the season. We have the college football rankings, which we will also discuss in segment 4 after we come back visiting with Scott Hunter of the University of Alabama NFL fame. So we had some things happen with these college football playoff rankings. Not everyone's happy. And of course, that's always the outcome when you have a committee selecting teams and you're on the cusp of making the playoffs and earning a berth. There's differences of opinion. There's evaluations that need to be made. But anyway, we're going to be right back in a few moments with a very special guest, Scott Hunter from the University of Alabama and NFL quarterback. We're going to speak about the Alabama at Oklahoma playoff game to be played on December 19th on a Friday evening. And I know many people will be watching that ball game and all the Southeastern Conference and college football between those two blue blood teams. So we'll be right back after these messages with AP as we see it. Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greer's.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it. Hi, I'm AP Stedham with Dr. Northcutt of Robertsdale Dental Care.
AP, not only do we offer basic full-service dental treatment, but I also have developed a niche within the practice where I provide comprehensive dental implant services, such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. I've been highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems.
Come by and see Dr. Northcutt at Robertsdale Dental Care. And we're back with AP as we see it, and our very special guest, a friend of the show for many years, Scott Hunter, the legendary Alabama and NFL quarterback. Welcome to AP as we see it, Scott. How are you today?
Good afternoon, AP.
Yeah, doing great here. We're out in Las Vegas. We're trying to finishing up with the National Football Foundation events. You probably been to that event, maybe at the Waldorf, Scott, in New York.
I went to many of them at the Waldorf over the years, and
Yes.
it was disappointing when they moved out to Las Vegas, but I think that's a bigger show, so I can
Right.
understand.
For sure. Yeah, I don't think they'll move back, Scott. It's 2,000 people. Of course, the Waldorf, they had a lot of people as well, but I don't think they'll move it back to the east. Everybody kind of likes being in Las Vegas, for whatever reason. That's the preference
Sure,
at the
but,
moment,
yeah,
But-
especially in December.
yeah. Unless you like Christmas in Manhattan, which is fun too, but that's another subject matter. But hey, Scott, I thought I'd get in touch with you. This Alabama team, they made the playoffs with the 3 losses. They're the 5th SEC team. The SEC has to be thrilled.
Well, I know a lot of Alabama fans are kind of caught in the moment here. Oh, gosh, last week Georgia just crushed us and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
But it's hard to explain or get over to the regular Alabama fan is that was then and the playoffs are now.
Yes.
And there's no relation to the two.
Right.
Just because Georgia crushed us last week and
Right.
Oklahoma beat us in Tuscaloosa has no bearing at all on what will happen on December the 19th in Norman, Oklahoma. Nothing at
Right.
all. But the Alabama fans, of course, don't want to believe that. So, but anyway, and I say that because of the NFL experience,
Yes.
the regular season and then getting in the playoffs and the difference the playoffs are as opposed to the season. The Vikings beat us in Lambeau my second year in September, and I threw a terrible interception to Paul Krause, who ran in for a touchdown to beat us like 24-14 or so. But when we went to Minneapolis in December, it was 4 degrees, and I made one mistake trying to hit Carroll Dale on the 2-yard line, and Krause again picked me off, but that was the only mistake I made. And we came from behind at 7-0 behind at halftime and beat their tails 23-7 and clinched the Central Division Championship. So those two games had no bearing except
Right.
Scott Hunter played better the second game than he
Right.
played the first game.
Right. Yeah, so that Alabama quarterback and the team had the 3 turnovers, and which led to some points. I think 17 points for Oklahoma in Tuscaloosa. So as you stated, it's a new ball game, new season, and everybody's refreshed and rejuvenated, and they can make their mark. I mean, it's that simple. It's a new concept to people, I guess, Scott. That's why.
Yeah, you just have to. It's just something Alabama fans are not used to anything like that. But it's just when you make the playoffs, forget about Auburn and Tennessee and Oklahoma and South Carolina and how you played against them, and
Yeah.
just forget about it. It doesn't
Right.
matter. It's a new season.
Right. Scott, were you surprised that Alabama made the playoffs?
I was surprised that Notre Dame didn't.
Yes.
And that kind of told me where the committee was leaning to. And then when Alabama did, I thought, well, finally, somebody is going to pay attention to strength of schedule. Finally.
Right.
And, they did. And, of course, Notre Dame got left in South Bend, and Alabama goes to the playoffs.
Right. Scott, when you have a running game that is really struggling all year long, what can you do to provide some balance to your offense? Because Oklahoma, as we know, they're at the top of the list with A&M, I guess, getting to the quarterback and sacks, and they have over 100-something tackles for losses. So what can you do as an offensive coordinator or head coach to provide some balance?
Well, you have to go out and make up your mind as a team and as an offensive coordinator, you're going to run the football. And that's just all there is to it. You can't dream about it. You can't wish it. You just have to go out there and have a game plan to run the football. And you have to tell them, the players have to believe we're going to run the football and we're going to make it work. And there's no other way. AP, if I had some magic thing on the blackboard, I'd draw it out from behind me. But there's no magic. It's it goes back to what Lombardi said: blocking and tackling. And if you block and run the football, you've got a really good chance to win the game.
Right. Yeah. I know that I watched the game one time and I was remembering Tennessee, Notre Dame, I think. And I can't remember which team, but one team had a really good pass rush. So the other team ran like 5 screens in a row to just wear out the linemen.
Yeah, there you go.
to start the game.
Okay, rush the passer. Yeah, I'll take that. Y'all come on. And I'll just put that back right out of the backfield over there, and I'll bump it off to him. Y'all keep doing that. That's fine.
Yeah, they wore him out, Scott. I mean, like by the 7th play, they backed off completely. They just wore him out. The big defensive lineman couldn't handle it. But I suspect that Alabama would be a competitive game like it was last time, and maybe if it could be clean on both sides, you'll see a true reflection of which is the better team.
Well, I think it depends on, obviously, Ty Simpson has to play a perfect game. Well, now, wait a second. You can't play a perfect game, but you can plan to play a perfect game, like I did against the Vikings in Minneapolis. That second game to win the division championship, I planned to play a perfect game, and except for one play, I did. So that's what you do, is plan to play a perfect game in Norman, and the rest of the team takes care of themselves, and we go from there.
Yeah. I think what was spectacular in that game was that interception and return for a touchdown, 87 yards. Now, if they had tackled them way down by the goal line, Alabama would have been fine. Maybe play defense, get the short punting and back at it offensively. But that 87-yard return, that was exceptional.
Well, again, when was that?
The Oklahoma game, when Alabama, Ty Simpson threw the interception, they returned to 87 yards for the touchdown.
Was that in the regular season or the playoff season?
That was the regular season, game, Alabama and Oklahoma just now.
You,
Yeah.
you know, I'm jiving you here now. That doesn't matter.
You caught me. You caught me, Scott. You got me.
That was back then. Back
Right.
then.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
next Friday is now.
Right. That is. That's
Friday
right.
week
It's
is
not.
now.
Scott, what'd you think of the overall season from Alabama? How they played? Maybe offensively and defensively. Did you see some improvement? Did you see some regression? What were your thoughts about them, and also the special teams, of course?
Well, obviously going over to Athens and winning over there, and we know that's tough to do, and that
Yes.
tells you a lot about the football team and about the coaching staff.
Right,
It's not
right.
not too many people can go over there and do that. And
Yeah.
I know they had the debacle
Yeah.
against Florida State, but
Right.
they walked into that one. Muhammad Ali
Yeah.
told me one time we were working out together in Atlanta, at the bottom of the old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. We were lifting
Right.
weights together. And I said,
Yes.
Champ, did anybody ever slip up on you and just really surprise you? And he named one of the boxers. He thought they just lined him up for what they thought was going to be easy fodder.
Yeah.
And dang, he said, dang, if the guy didn't take me to the 12th round, it wore me out. I won, but he wore me out. So anyway, I think that this team had a good season. I know the Oklahoma game, like we talked, you spoke about, they kind of
Yeah.
blew that one, but that's
Right.
things you can clean up.
Yeah.
But nobody beat this team. In a sense, nobody beat them except themselves,
Right.
and including last week's Georgia game in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
A high snap caused the punter to do some misstepping and get off his rhythm. Calls
Right.
a block of the punt, gives Georgia a short field, then interception, Georgia gets a short field, and all those things. But I didn't see any time that Alabama just beat themselves, maybe with the exception of
Well, Florida State.
Florida
Yeah.
State, Florida State. So
Yeah. They were shaky in that ball game to start the season.
Yeah.
Sure were, but
Right.
they came on subsequently. But Scott, we got about 35 seconds in this segment. We're going to discuss the college football playoff, Scott, and some of your thoughts about how they picked the teams and did they pick the teams. And we're going to try to explain to the audience, and I've tried to do this throughout the course of the show during the season,
Okay.
that it's a political situation they have to massage because they have to keep 50 states happy with senators and congressmen and congresswomen because you can't be exclusive. You can't say that we're playing FBS football and we don't even have a chance to get into the playoffs. So we have to come up with something that it satisfies all 50 states. And the magic happened with Tulane and James Madison making the playoffs. Who knew? But anyway, we're going to be right back after these messages with our special guest, Scott Hunter, a former University of Alabama and NFL quarterback. We'll be right back after these messages with AP as we see it. Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greer's.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it. And we're back with AP as we see it, and our very special guest, Scott Hunter, the former University of Alabama and NFL quarterback. Scott, you played your last football game in the Blue Bonnet Bowl against none other than the University of Oklahoma, which was running the Wishbone at the time.
Right.
And y'all ran the pro set. And if I recall, you had the go-ahead touchdown with the pass that was thrown by Johnny Musso did he throw it back to the left side of the field? Was that
he
what
was
it was?
running to his right.
His right.
I called a sweep to the left, throwback. I called it to the right. So he had to totally reverse.
He did.
And get the ball out. I said, as I handed off to him, I said, what did I do? Anyway, but Johnny, being the great athlete he is, he got out there and suckered all the Oklahoma defenders in. And I saw the ball pop out of the pile of red. They were wearing red that night and pop out kind of wobbly and came down about ankle high. And I caught it and ran right behind David Bailey, who was faking the Oklahoma defender. He was faking him like he was going to catch a deep pass over his shoulder. Both of them were looking up, and I was running right along behind him for a touchdown.
I'll never forget that play. I used to love to watch that play when Coach Bryant would run it. He ran it in the Sugar Bowl, I remember, with Richard Todd, too, and Mike Stock, I believe it was, years later. But, Scott, this college football playoff, what are some of your thoughts about how they pick the teams? And is 12 enough, in your opinion? Would you like 16? I mean, it's just some of your observations.
Well, let's see how it goes with 12 first before we start saying let's go to 16 or let's go to 24. Let's just see how 12 works.
Right.
If it seems to work, let's stay with 12. But, it is always, you always go to 16. I don't think you can ever reduce again, but you can always stay at 12 if the TV ratings are fine and the games are fine. But the thing I worry about is you go to 16 and you start getting a 45-0 blowout because you got a team that shouldn't be there against a team that just blows them out.
Yeah.
The playoffs will kind of lose their luster, if you will.
Yeah, it probably will. We might have some of those coming up here shortly. We had some last year, matter of fact. But when I look back at last year, Scott, I'm thinking that the SEC teams all were eliminated by double-digit margins. I think that Texas game was close because they were trying to score and then they ran it the other way. Ohio State made that defensive play, but Tennessee did not fare well, and Georgia was beaten by 10, I think, by the Fighting Irish. So I thought that was surprising to me that all three of them.
Well, Georgia, you got to give them a break now. I think they lost their quarterback. Yeah,
quarterback. That's right, Gunnar Stockton. Right. Yeah. He's turned out to be a really good quarterback, Scott. Gunnar Stockton.
I thought going into the game, the SEC championship game, I thought Ty was the better quarterback of the two, but that night, Gunnar Stockton played the better game.
Yeah, he only threw about 20 passes that first time against Alabama. They were running the ball so well, over 200 yards. But I was been pretty impressed with Gunnar Stockton, his ability to pass the football and lead his team in some high-scoring games or low-scoring games.
He's a solid quarterback. On a solid team.
Right. I think so. Scott, anything surprise you this year in the SEC? There's 5 teams who made the playoffs, but any team surprise you? I have a one in mind particularly, but you might have some others.
Ole Miss. I mean, you have to say that Lane Kiffin did a terrific job with Ole Miss. You never would have said they'd be 10-1 and this high, ranked this high in the playoffs, and he's did a terrific job with them. Now gone to LSU.
Yeah, I pointed out that Vanderbilt continues to surprise me by reaching the 10 wins the first time in history. They lost to Alabama, I think it was 14 points, and they came from behind to get it close against Texas. Again, that was 2 years in a row. I think that was a 3-point game, Scott, the Texas-Vanderbilt game,
Vanderbilt turned their whole program around with with transfers. 30-something, I think, transfers. That's not the old Vanderbilt we all remember.
No, they're talented quite a bit. Scott, when you look forward in the college football coming seasons, it's professional football in my mind because, number one, they're paying them, and number two, we all have money, the schools. Who should receive the money? Just like professional football.
I told a father of one of the players, this was years ago, he was complaining that, the players, when they get in this NIL, the players getting this and they're getting that. And so I said, look, now you're going into the stadium and your son is the starting quarterback. I was just inventing this. And you look over there across the street and they're selling bobbleheads of your son and signed pictures and jerseys with his name on the back of them. And the vendors are making a fortune. The coach is making $9 million. The athletic department is making $150 million. And your son is the starting quarterback, and people are going to the game not to see the coach or the band. They're going to see how well your son plays.
That's right. Yeah, that's the different. Scott, I remember way back when they started free agency in sports in general, the NFL, other leagues, and for some reason, people do not like to see the players be compensated. And I just could never understand why, to share the profits, because they were out there performing. It's a performance, as you know. Every week it's entertainment. So,
Well, AP, still, I tell fans, there's still three things that a college player has to do
mhm.
that an NFL player kind of doesn't have to worry about because he's already arrived and he signed his contract. A college player, between he and the coaching staff, first, they have to be recruited.
Yes.
And second, they have to be developed because, they're 17, 18,
Yes. Yeah.
19, not a 26-year-old
No. Yeah.
starting guard for the Green Bay Packers. And
Right.
third, they got to be managed.
Yes.
They're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. They got to be managed, academically, socially, athletically,
Right.
weight roomy,
Yes.
if you will.
Yeah. Their time. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into it that doesn't go into, what that 28-year-old guy's played 6 years in the NFL
Right.
does.
Right. Correct. Scott, when you look at these teams around the country, do you have a team that you believe should be a favorite? Maybe not a strong favorite, but maybe even a slight favorite. Any team in the playoffs that you've watched?
Well, my strong favorite got their tail kicked Saturday by Indiana. Figure that, would you?
Right.
I'm gonna watch about. I said I'm gonna watch about 10 minutes of this game. Get me, give me a little ice cream, and all of a sudden Indiana grabs my attention and kicks their tail. I said,
Right.
"Oh boy!" So
Yeah.
there you go. That was good for college football and the playoffs.
Oh yeah. Indiana, Scott. I vote every week in the Football Writers Association of America National Football Foundation Super 16 poll, and I saw Fernando Mendoza play against Auburn when he was at University of California. I fell in love with him, and I told Chris, I told Chris Signetti,
Ohio State, being
Right.
Ohio State, would come out, and they'd take
Yes.
him apart and then the Indiana team apart. We'd see who really Indiana is and who really Ohio State was. Boy,
Yes.
was I wrong.
Yeah. Oh, it was something. It was unbelievable to hold that type of offense with their quarterback, their receivers to 10 points. I thought that was maybe that's the best defensive game of the year. Maybe Indiana.
I was thoroughly entertained with it and surprised.
Yeah. So I just felt Indiana beginning of the year. I put them very high in my poll because I fell in love with that quarterback, and they brought those players over from James Madison who are All-American types, the linebacker and the receiver, and Kurt Signetti. He is a fun coach to interview, Scott. If you've never been around him, he cuts to the chase. I can tell you that. Yeah, he's fun. But Ohio State's another team. Texas A&M, Scott, with the one loss, it was on the road.
Right.
To Texas. The quarterback was very impressive. I saw him. He had the command in the pocket, and he can run with the wind. So I'm kind of interested to see what Texas A&M does in the playoffs.
Yeah, very athletic team. Can be up, can be down. So,
right.
We're in a situation like you just don't know.
Yeah.
Like the Indiana-Ohio State game, who's going to show up and how it's going to go, which is nice for the playoffs.
Right. Oh, it sure is, yeah. And Ole Miss has the defensive coordinator now, the new coach. Will they continue to play well offensively? And Scott, didn't that surprise you with that Division II quarterback coming to the SEC and playing so well?
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're well schooled, wherever you are, reading coverages, making your progression, and doing all the things mechanically that you need to do, it doesn't matter if you're in Division 3, 2, or 1.
Yeah.
Playing good quarterbacking is good mechanics and good schooling and good blackboarding and watching video and good coaching. All that stuff makes you a good quarterback. It doesn't just drop out of heaven.
No, you can continue those types of things. Well, Scott, we want to thank you very much. I really enjoyed. We can go on for hours discussing college football, our favorite sport and subject matter, and it sure is interesting with this playoffs.
That guy over my head taught me a little bit about what we're talking about here at AP. I think you can see that.
Yes, sir. I can.
That picture up there. So,
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I just impart the knowledge that he gave me.
Coach Bryant, he's always around us, Scott. He'll always be with us forever and ever. But anyway, we appreciate Scott Hunter, former University of Alabama NFL quarterback, and we'll be right back after these messages with another segment of AP as we see it. Thank you, Scott.
You bet.
Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it. Hi, I'm AP Stedham with Dr. Northcutt of Robertsdale Dental Care.
AP, not only do we offer basic full-service dental treatment, but I also have developed a niche within the practice where I provide comprehensive dental implant services, such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. I've been highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems.
Come by and see Dr. Northcutt at Robertsdale Dental Care. And we're back with AP as we see it, and we'd like to thank our special guest, Scott Hunter, the former University of Alabama and NFL quarterback. We were discussing the University of Alabama versus the University of Oklahoma that we played on December 19th in the college football playoff game, first round. And we also discussed some things that were happening in the SEC and college football around the country. So we thank Scott for his astute observations and comments and thoughts. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Greer's Markets in business for 109 years, 29 locations, Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi. All these holidays coming up, all these college football playoff games and basketball games with the SEC and other sporting events. You can check out their weekly online ads and have groceries delivered if you go to groceriestogo.com, and they'll deliver to your home, the venue of your choice. But remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it. We also like to make mention of Dr. Jason Northcutt in Robertsdale. Dr. Jason Northcutt, you can call 251-947-3636. That's Robertsdale Dental Care. They'll take care of all your major dental needs, and they have an outstanding staff. We like to make mention of Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia, the spacious rooms, the beautiful indoor pool with the serene tropical setting right in the downtown heart of Atlanta near all the shops. They have the gift shops there and then the restaurants as well. And Ben Giacomo and staff are second to none with all their hospitality. So we'd like to continue our discussion of college football. I want to make mention of my national, my Football Writers Association of America National Football Foundation Super 16 poll. We had number, and this is my last vote that I had because we're on to the college football playoffs, but I had Indiana at number 1, Ohio State number 2, Georgia number 3, Oregon number 4, Ole Miss number 5, Texas A&M number 6, Texas Tech number 7, Oklahoma number 8, Notre Dame number 9, BYU I had at 10, Alabama 11, Texas 12, Vandy 13, Miami 14, USC 15, and Utah 16. And so that was 4 teams I had in my top 16. If you look at the college football final playoff rankings, they had Indiana number 1, Ohio State number 2, Georgia number 3, Texas Tech number 4, Oregon number 5, Ole Miss number 6, Texas A&M 7, Oklahoma 8, Alabama 9, and Miami 10. And once you reach that point, we know what happens. The teams that are 11 through 25 are left out of the college football playoffs, except from the American Athletic Conference. We had Tulane at number 20, and from the Sun Belt at number 24, you had James Madison, because they were among the highest 5 ranked conference champions. So, but to continue that poll, Notre Dame number 11, they were left out. BYU number 12, Texas 13, Vanderbilt 14, Utah 15, USC 16, Arizona 17, Michigan 18, Virginia 19, as I mentioned, Tulane in the playoffs, number 20, Houston 21, Georgia Tech number 22, Iowa 23, James Madison number 24, who made the playoffs out of the Sun Belt, and North Texas 25. So those are the teams that are in the final college football poll. And as we try to explain every week, and I can't help but keep mentioning, this is a political system because you're trying to be inclusive. You have to give all these conferences, I believe it's 10 plus Notre Dame and UConn are in the independents. You're trying to give everyone an opportunity to make the college football playoffs and earn a berth. And so it just so happens this year, the ACC, they were fortunate that the committee had Miami at number 10. And they made that by beating Notre Dame. And when you get to that cluster of a few teams that they're evaluating, Miami kept running up the poll, and they got to the point where Notre Dame was a team they were evaluated against. And of course, the head-to-head matchup is one of the guidelines. They had beat Notre Dame earlier in the season, a close ball game, of course, but nonetheless, Miami won that game against Notre Dame. So Notre Dame's best victory was against USC, and Miami, they beat Notre Dame head-to-head and had the 10-2 record as well. It's a match. So we have these ball games. Alabama travels to Norman, Oklahoma. They play the winner of they play Indiana, the winner of the Big Ten. That'll be in the Rose Bowl. Then you have Miami plays Texas A&M, and then they will play the winner of the second place team in the Big Ten, Ohio State, in the Cotton Bowl. You have Georgia will play the winner of Tulane and Ole Miss. That will be in the Sugar Bowl. So those are the teams we have. And then, of course, the Fiesta Bowl will have Georgia, the other teams in the playoffs will be in the Fiesta Bowl as well. But anyhow, I just want to go over the SEC bowl games. Missouri plays Virginia in the Gator Bowl on the 27th of December. LSU plays Houston on the 27th of December in Texas Bowl. Liberty Bowl, Tennessee versus Illinois on the 30th of December. ReliaQuest Bowl, Vanderbilt versus Iowa. That's on the 31st. Also on the 31st, the Citrus Bowl, Texas versus Michigan. And on the 2nd of January, the Mayo Bowl is Mississippi State, who qualified as a 5-7 team, not with 6 wins, but they had some teams that were declining the invitation. So they look at teams that are 5-7. And if you have the right APR, the academic ranking, you can qualify at a 5-7 team. So Mississippi State will play Wake Forest in that ball game. So, but anyway, those are the matchups for the bowl games involving the SEC. Right now, I think there's some pretty good ball games. You see that there's potential games where the SEC is matched up. Well, we have Oklahoma and Alabama, for instance, matched up again from in the conference. That Tulane Ole Miss game, it looks like Tulane is the type of team that Ole Miss beat by 35 points, 45-10. It looks like you might see the Ole Miss Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. So that's a possibility. So the committee does not worry about those types of things. It's just like the basketball. They try to, you can stay away from it slightly in basketball where you're not matched up until further on down in the rounds. But in the college football, when you only have 12 teams, it's really difficult to bypass teams in your conference because there are very few games. So, but anyway, the controversy with Alabama, Miami, and Notre Dame, I was surprised that Alabama with 3 losses made and earned a berth to the college football playoffs. That was a bad loss to Georgia by 3 touchdowns. If you're going to play in the championship game, I think that's the risk that's inherent to the system. You want to provide more money for your conference. Well, I understand that concept as well, but if you win the conference game, automatically the league championship, you're in the playoffs. But if you have a bad loss, that should be counted against you. I don't think you should receive a bye from the committee saying, well, you made the championship of the SEC and we're not going to keep you out of the game, even though you had a 3-touchdown loss to the eventual champion, Georgia. And we've been saying for how many months now on our show that Georgia was a team to beat because they can score a lot of points and win, or they can play a low-scoring game. Well, they had a perfect game in regards that their offense was good. Their special teams blocked the punt. They had some interceptions defensively. So it was a well-played game by the Bulldogs. Alabama, very poor performance to start the season versus Florida State and to end the regular season in this conference championship with a 3-touchdown loss. But as Scott Hunter brought up, it's like the NFL. You can play a bad game against a team, but come back and beat them in the playoffs. So you have to just have amnesia in that regard, but you do have to make adjustments and become better and play a more perfect game, as Scott suggested, because when you have the turnover, when you lose the turnover battle 3-0, more than likely the odds are not in your favor to win the ball game. So Oklahoma has a good defensive team. They struggle offensively. John Mateer can make some plays. He's thrown for about 2,500 yards this year, and he's had ball games where he led his team to victory. They had the defeat against Ole Miss, was a home game, and they lost to Texas. They didn't score a touchdown. So John Mateer is 221, 356, 62%, 12 TD. But interestingly enough, he's got 10 interceptions. So he's prone to turn the ball over. If Alabama can come up with a plan to make him rush his passes or put him in a difficult spot where he must throw on a third down and long and get him where it's in a situation where Alabama knows that Oklahoma will pass the football, maybe they'll come up with a turnover themselves, so an interception or so. But it's going to be a difficult game. Alabama, I think, is favored by 1.5, and we'll discuss that next week before the game as well. But Alabama and Oklahoma, 2 blue bloods. This is Oklahoma's first time making this 12-team playoff. Alabama missed it last year. This is their first time as well. So they're both hungry, and they're trying to satisfy their fan bases, which are passionate and rabid. So we're going to see what happens with these playoff games. We'll get back to that next week as well. But we want to thank our audience for listening, and check our YouTube channel at AP as we see it. And we want to let everybody know that you can check all our links as well on our Facebook page, our Instagram account, our X account. Listen to the broadcast, the audio on the Spotify, all the radio stations, 20 plus or 25 around the Southeast. And so take advantage of that as well. And look at all the interviews that we do at the events we covered. This week was National Football Foundation, where I was at the Raiders game. We're going to be going to the Saints game this weekend, and LSU men's and women's basketball as well. So check out those interviews on our YouTube channel at AP As We See It. So we'll be back next week with another episode of AP As We See It. Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it.